Hey y'all. Mic check 1 2 1 2. All right. I am very excited, guys, because tonight we are going to be talking to one of my students named Lorie. Lorie enrolled in my program in September and she just acquired a business. So we're going to talk to her and she's going to share her experience with us. Oh, here she goes right here. Let me go ahead and add her to the live. This is very, let's see. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Hope everybody's a good start. All right, so I just sent a request, so we're gonna wait for Lorie to join us. Hey, there she goes. Hey, Lorie.
Hey, Kenna.
How are you, my friend?
So happy. So happy.
You look gorgeous as always.
Thank you. You too. You look so refreshed, like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
It don't feel like it. It certainly don't feel like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I appreciate that.
Man.
Thank you.
No, ma'am.
So while everybody's coming in, thank you so much for joining in today. So guys, we're gonna go ahead and dive in. I asked Lorie to come on live with me because she reached out to me probably a couple months ago. I think, Lorie, it was recent.
August?
Um, Interested in enrolling in my program. And I could tell that she was going to be one of my success stories, and she proved me right.
It worked. It worked.
So anyway, Lorie, let's go ahead and dive in. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, girl. Lorie Woodruff, real estate agent in the Maryland and DC market, and I'm also a business coach. So I predominantly work with entrepreneurs and realtors to help them brand themselves online. So, over the last couple of years, things have changed and things have shifted when it comes to the real estate market. And I came across this as an opportunity when I wanted to leave my job and I wanted still to have something that I was passionate about doing that I didn't have to go into an office to do. So I was actually kind of looking online. You were doing a live and I tapped into it, and right here on Instagram, and I tapped right into it. And, just for those that are looking at it, I just want you to understand this. I didn't know anything about acquisitions with businesses, nothing. And it wasn't something I was looking for. It found me, thank God, because it was right on time, right in August. As I said, I was looking to transition out of a job, and I wanted to be able to do something that I was passionate about, home, still be in my creative space. And she was talking on her live about how to acquire an online business. And I guess when it's your time, you perk up and you listen to certain things. Like everything is not meant for you just because you hear it today. But if it's something for you, it may tap you on the shoulder to say, just kind of pay attention a little bit more to this. And that was something that really grabbed my attention because at that moment I needed it and it needed me to find it. So I'm glad I did discover a little bit more about the information. But honey, your course was everything. Your course, and I bought so many daggone courses. It's just like, all right, let's just make sure she doesn't go through anything fluffy. You went through everything necessary for someone to buy an e-commerce store. So girl, that's why I was asking you, how long did it take you to put that course together? Because it was so detailed from how to source the business, find out what kind of business that you may want to do. And being clueless, I'm like, well, I don't know. Let me just kind of finish the course and see what else is next.
Yeah.
And even with the tips of the websites that you gave, I went right on to that. And I just started looking at the marketplaces of, okay, what kind of businesses are out there? And for those that are in real estate or any kind of sales, listen to me closely. Everything about this transaction was very similar to a real estate deal. Everything, just like she said, Kenna had said, you're a real estate agent, so this should come to you very easily. So I was like, all right. You're sourcing a property just like you're looking for houses. You're talking to the seller, you're asking questions about certain things. And with the questionnaire, the contracts that you gave, I felt armed that I could go into that discussion like a big girl and not go in there
Yes.
and look like an amateur buying it. So I looked at it. I partnered with someone who also wanted to do this online business as well. He too is looking to leave his job. So we both started looking at this as an opportunity for both of us to do this. And when we started looking at the businesses, I'm like, this Shopify store was making before the seller decided to sell it for their personal reasons. I don't care. I'm just happy
Right.
that you sold it. The seller decides to sell the business and it was already making profit. So the goal is not to have to start a business from scratch. Because you're right, Ken, I've seen you do the videos before where it's like you got to get the EIN number, you got to get everything together, the LLC, you got to start the bank account, you got to get the articles of incorporation. You got to start a whole lot before you're even in business. Here, a lot of that was just transferred over to me. It was just a transfer.
Yes.
And I bought the business already making anywhere between 8 to 11. I want to say numbers because every business is different. But the one that I bought was about $8,000 to $11,000, and it doesn't have any overhead. No,
Amazing.
no overhead. I'm the overhead. That's it. So everything that's included in there was the assets that the seller was using for ad copy, like Facebook ads and things that he was using. And so for something to make about $10,000 on average every single month, I don't have to show properties. I don't have to leave the house. I could just use this. It was a no-brainer for me. So that course, girl, was everything. And I definitely, because she was on my podcast before. So when she started talking about it, I let people know there's going to be a shift in the real estate market. So for those people who are thinking, I got to buy real estate. I got to buy real estate. Okay, think different. You're buying real estate for the comfort of having a tax write-off, to have equity build up, right? Businesses have equity build up too. So if you build it the right way, you too could potentially sell it for a profit. So yes, I did invest. I bought. It took me about 30 days to find it, go ask all the right questions, and then close on that deal. So it took me about 30 days total from the time I found it to the time that we closed, which was last week.
Amazing.
I'm a I'm a
Yes.
I'm a business owner now. Different kind. I'm an
Listen,
e-commerce business owner.
you're a deal maker. You are a business buyer now. Like,
Business
you're a
buyer.
private equity investor. Like, you all the things right now. Um,
Acquisitions. Yes, I'm in the acquisitions department. How about
you're an
that?
acquisition.
I can
Exactly.
see that.
Okay. So
I can
listen,
see
I
that.
want to kind of scale it back just a little bit because I want to talk about your experience, like the process, because a lot of people come to me and they're really nervous about the process. They're nervous about like making sure they do due diligence and all that kind of stuff. So I want to kind of scale
Mhm.
it back and talk to my people who are considering this or maybe just found out about it. So you kind of already touched on it, but I just want to break it up just a little bit.
Sure.
Like, what led you to consider buying an online business specifically instead of a brick and mortar business? Like, were you already aware of the opportunity to buy a business and you were just considering it? Like, where were you
Mhm.
like mentally? What was your mindset when you
I
decided to do
knew I
this?
was not, ever since the pandemic, everything changed for me where I did not want to buy anything. And anybody I ever coach, that question comes up. Oh, I'm thinking about opening up a boutique. I'm like, don't do it. Like anything brick and mortar, we saw what happened in 2020. So just act as if that could happen again. So no, I wasn't looking for staff. I wasn't looking for a brick and mortar place that I have to drive up to. I wanted something online. And ever since 2020, I have been looking to keep all of my business digital. So everything in there, everything since 2020, I've been making courses, I've been making ebooks, and this was no different.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So how did you decide what kind of e-commerce business you wanted to buy? Like what was your criteria when you started to search? Like give me like some checkpoints. What was your criteria when you started your search?
No inventory. I didn't want to deal with anything. Drop shipping sounds cool for some people, but I just know my personality and I don't want to have to deal with customer service issues like that. So I personally, some people like the trinkets, the jewelry, and the t-shirts and things like that. But I'm just like, yo, I don't want to talk to people if I don't have to. So I want to keep a business where it is low overhead. And the only people that I have hired are people off of Upwork. They are virtual workers. And they're all around the world. I'm supporting everybody around the world. You want a job? You want a job. I got your job. But no one is in my basement. No one do I have to drive
Yes.
to them and tell them what to do. They're all virtual. Nigeria, Pakistan, India, the United States, like they're all over the place. So I like that part. So I didn't know what kind of digital business it was. Um, Thank God. I just prayed over it and I was like, God, just allow the right business to find me. And because I had worked in photography before, um, I had worked in that creative space.
Mhm.
I wanted something like that. In that particular job, well, not job, but that website, the e-commerce store that popped up, I had my eyes on it almost for 2 weeks. And
Mm.
actually nothing was happening. So I'm just looking at it. I'm like, well, no one's making a move. A lot of times people, just like when they're looking at houses, they're just looking. They're just
Mhm.
looking, right? And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, obviously this must not be a store for them. It must be meant for me. So I just started inquiring and dialoguing to the seller.
That's wonderful. Like I'm telling you, I remember when you first reached out and you were like, "I'm ready to do this. Let's go." And I was
Okay.
like, "Okay, great. We gonna start searching." And then you hit me up and was like, "Oh yeah, I bought a business, by the way." So like you were for
And I
real.
wasn't playing. I mean,
You
a
were
lot of
not
people say,
playing. Don't play by her.
no, no, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So that
Yeah.
was no joke. And all I needed was the right guidance.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, your course gave everything necessary. I'm going to tell you a secret. When I was taking those courses, I had just quit a position in August, right? So
Hmm.
I would take, after I bought the course, I would take my tablet and every evening that I could, I was picking up. The classes weren't long, the courses weren't long, but I would take it to Expectations, this breakfast spot where I live, and I would have breakfast, I would have coffee, and I would have this thing sitting up on the counter eating breakfast. And I had my headphones on, and the guy that was working behind the counter was like, only entrepreneurs come in here, eat food with a tablet in here. So whatever you're working on, let me know whatever it is you're working on because it must be something heavy if you're bringing that thing to breakfast. I am.
That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
buying a business, so get out of my way.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, you were focused.
So
That's
focused. I
amazing.
had to finish it. Yeah, because I was like, if I quit this position, I need something else to do like ASAP.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I quit my job that I did have in August. And that next week, I have 4 opportunities right before me. I could have worked on because I've done Forex trading before. So I was like, all right, let me look into day trading. Let me look into day trading. That was one. Your course was number two. Another guy wanted me to look at solar panels because it goes right in line with real estate. So that was pretty simple. All right, cool. And the fourth thing was another network marketing opportunity. So I'm like, all right, I got 4 opportunities. I say, God, what you want me to do? I need him to lead me to what needs to be done. And this stood out. And that's the reason why I took the tablet to breakfast.
Yes, ma'am.
Got to get it done.
That's amazing. Yeah, because there's so many opportunities out here. You can kind of get lost and you need to just
Yeah,
pick one. I always say, like, all these business models work. Like, you just have to choose one that you
right.
think you can stick with long enough to see results. So, okay, awesome. So, talk
Yes,
about your
ma'am.
search process. So, like,
Mhm,
because people always ask me this question from the time you started your search to
mhm.
the time you found that exact business that you ended up buying, like, what was that time frame?
Maybe
Like,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Love it.
Yeah.
And
Because
what it,
I went
go
in there
ahead.
and I looked at the filter on what kind of business I wanted. I took out the inventory stuff and I just looked at the digital businesses. And you could put it on a filter where you can get notifications.
Yep.
So I would just, as soon as I get notifications, I'm like, oh, what's on here? And I would just
Mm-hmm.
take a look and analyze it the best way I could, ask you questions.
Yep.
And then, yeah, so it took about 2 weeks.
That's wonderful.
I
I
was,
love
I
that.
was learning.
Yeah, there are so many businesses available for sale like right now. Like it's possible to like people always ask me how long it's gonna take. I'm like, that really depends on
It's on
how
you.
determined you are to find one. Right.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks you found that business. So what
Mhm.
did you like about the business that you found?
Digital. The fact that
Digital.
it was digital. So people will know it is a photography preset business. And I didn't know anything about presets. I had to call my photographer up and like, what is a loop? And what is a LUT? And what is a I had to
Right.
call them up and like presets. All right. Lookup tables. LUT. Got it. Okay. So he's helping me create content for the page, which is great.
That's
But it just goes to show when you have people in your life, you never know how you're going to need them for the next level in your life. But yeah, my photographer, he's a videographer. His wife is my social media manager, Kenna. So she was already doing my content for my
okay.
own Instagram pages anyway. So
Yeah.
both of them together, I'm like, well, y'all can basically run the social media page and just put content on there. But the
Yeah.
biggest thing was let me learn about this. How can I enhance it? And whatever the seller was doing, let me just continue what he was doing because it was working.
Yeah.
Don't disrupt it. So he was doing Facebook ads to bring attention to it. He was getting people from all over the world buying photography presets.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So yes, I'm just been connecting now with photographers so that I can help because I'm all about exposing and helping other people's business. So I'm talking to photographers to let them know I've got some I've got some presets that you can use for your work, but I need something from you as well. Please
Yeah.
edit the work, get
Yeah.
it back to me, and then as soon as I put it on my page, I shout you out.
Yeah.
I tag you on that so that you get credit for that. So when people are looking at Instagram or Facebook, they can see who the photographer was that did that work.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so
So
you
it
already
all
kind
works
of,
together.
yeah. So you were kind of familiar with the industry already, like you're actually really
Mhm.
familiar with it, like photography, but you were able to
Mhm.
come in and see that business and
Mhm.
already you looked at the financials so you could see how much money the business was making and that looked good. It met your
Yeah.
criteria that it sold digital products, so you didn't have to deal with any inventory.
Right.
And you already were able to analyze that business and determine growth potential opportunities. So you were able to look at it and be like, oh, I can establish some partnerships and I can open
Mhm.
up some new markets and all that stuff.
Yep.
So I love how
Yeah.
you were thinking about that acquisition before you bought it.
That's how, and
Um,
this business actually was losing money ever since the top of
wow.
the year. This business was losing money. So when you
Wow.
typically look at a graph chart,
Mm,
you look and you see just like a house, right? You look at a house and you're like, this house has been sitting here on the market for 90 days. Why? Well,
mm-hmm.
you don't know the story of why.
Yeah.
So until you talk to the seller of that store, did I find out that he couldn't use Facebook ads in his country anymore. He was in Vietnam. I didn't, those are the kind of things you find out, and then from that point, it's like, oh, that's the reason why you had to shut the store down. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that was it. There was nothing else wrong with the items. It's just that in my country, I couldn't accept the same, couldn't use the same merchant um, ways that you like Stripe and Square. He couldn't do that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you know how Facebook is temperamental, so
Mm-hmm.
something shut the page down. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
So I bought a business actually that looked like it was declining in
Mm-hmm.
sales. My partner and I looked at it, and he's more analytical than me. He was like, why? Why would you buy this and not, something on the up and up? I said, look, this is low-hanging fruit. Nobody's looking at this dirty, ugly house on the market because they saw the numbers were going down, the revenue was going down. But I already talked to the owner and I knew why. And that was sufficient enough for me to understand, oh, okay, that was an easy fix. I can see why that business
Exactly.
went down because you closed shop.
Yeah. I love that. So you've already touched on my next question, which was due diligence, because you found a business and you saw that the revenue was declining,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else is already set up, the store and the social media and all that kind of stuff. But you knew to look deeper to find out why is the revenue declining, right? And so then you start
Yeah.
talking to the seller, and that's when you found out it was just that they weren't able to run ads anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you know that you can run ads because you're
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S. and you can have an ad account.
Yeah.
So you knew right there that that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
So I
And
love
TikTok
that.
is
Yeah,
my friend. So I know everything about social media. So
yeah,
for me, I'm not scared of what will it take to get in front of getting new buyers. Well, the
yeah.
seller was not using TikTok. He was not doing reels.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I do all the time anyway. So I'm like, well, if
Yeah,
that's not something that you were doing and we did that, and it's a photography influencer type business, oh, we'll be fine.
yeah. So
We'll be
you
fine.
already
So
knew. Yes.
yeah, the business is faceless. So for many people who are thinking their face has to be on the front of everything, no, you don't. There are some YouTube pages that just play music. There are some YouTube pages that are just tutorials. You never see the person's face. So as I started learning more about your face don't have to be on the front of everything.
Mm-mm.
I like that. I like that. So when I picked up this Shopify store, it's an e-commerce store. I already have my own Shopify store, so I'm very comfortable with how to operate it. I just needed to know how to work presets
Mm-hmm.
and LUTs and stuff. And the
Yeah.
content's not a problem. So find something that you are passionate about, because when the money doesn't come in or you lose interest, you will close up shop. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's something that you're passionate about somewhat, or something
Yeah.
that you're interested in starting, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
Yes, exactly. So let's talk about the closing process. So you
Hmm.
found the business, right? You love it. You talked to the seller, got had a Zoom meeting and all that stuff. You did your due diligence. So how did the closing process go? Like you sent the money to escrow. We can start from that part. You already found the business. You did your due diligence. You sent the money to escrow. So how did
Hmm.
the ownership and the assets transfer go? What was that
Cool.
process like for you?
I partnered with someone. So again, you may be thinking, how much is this going to cost me? Okay. You got to start thinking outside the box, guys, because one of the things you don't want to do is stop a potential opportunity to make thousands of dollars without talking to the right people. So I partnered with someone who had the money, just like, look, I'm putting the money into it. You just run the store, Lorie. I said, not a problem. And we just have an agreement. This is what we're going to split of the profits and losses. This is what we're going to arrange. We wrote an agreement together. So our relationship was solid as far as who does what.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got the deposit from my partner. The money went into my business checking account first with
Mm-hmm.
my business, okay? Because everything is run out of my business. So escrow.com is a third party that Flippa actually suggest that you use. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know about them as a real estate agent. I didn't know that they were out there. But escrow.com is a trusted source of when you're dealing with anything. If you're buying a car, if you're buying jewelry, or a marketplace like what we're doing here, escrow.com is going to hold the money until every buyer and seller is happy with what just happened. So the money was transferred over. They received it within a day or two electronically. Now the money's just sitting there at escrow.com. That gave me time to communicate back and forth with the seller of that store to just make sure everything is transferred into my name. Because if you think getting a store is complicated, you wait till you give them the money, and then oh, I got questions. They might be gone. They might be gone. All right. All right. So you got
They
to make
out.
sure you holding something back until you get every everything in your possession. I mean, the domains, the phone numbers, the email address, the merchandise itself, you're comfortable so that you can just run with your team and do what needs to be done. But escrow.com was easy. No scammer situation there. The money
Mhm.
goes into that portal. And then when you say, as the buyer, when you release that money, then that means that you have everything. Now the seller can get paid.
Yes.
So he gone now.
He
I don't,
gone now.
but he and I look, I miss him. I kind of miss him because we were going back and forth every day. Where did you get this? Are you okay? Did you get stuff? So yeah, I don't even talk to him anymore, but I know where he is.
Yeah.
If I need to get in touch with him for anything.
So him transferring the business over to you, the store, the social media
Mhm.
accounts, all the ad creatives and all that kind of stuff, that was seamless.
Yeah, because he wants to get paid. So think about it.
Exactly.
Okay. Kenna had mentioned that in one of her videos. She's like, look, the seller is not going to hold things up on purpose.
Hmm.
Things are delayed just because I'm at work and, time zones are
Right.
different. But if that seller knows he's getting a couple $1,000s, in some cases, some people are paying millions of dollars for stores. Not me. I didn't pay that.
Yeah.
But when you're exchanging that, I invested $8,500. The store was 10.5. I negotiated, got it for 8,500. And the reason for that is there is a formula involved there when it comes to why would you pay that much? If the store was netting
Hmm.
$8,000 to $11,000, and that's all he wanted basically to walk away, that's basically 1 month of profit for him. So I gave him that, and you can negotiate just like a house. You can still negotiate. If he took 7,500, I might have got that. Who the hell knows? But we didn't stick at 10.5. That's the
Yeah.
number. I got it low enough, and he was good with that. And then we just started our negotiations from there. But it
I
was
love that.
very easy, guys. With anything that I do now, I know better. I have to pray over everything I do. I'm so serious because
Same.
if I just jump into something, whether it's a relationship, good Lord, or if it's a if it's a business idea, something's not going to work. And I really started paying attention to why didn't this work out? Because I thought that I was just doing it on my own. So everything that I do, I ask God to give me the right steps. Please only put the right people in front of me that are trusted, that are productive, that are resourceful, that are reliable, that are honest. And that's how I didn't feel anything, Kenna, about this particular seller.
I love
The
it. Like you
guy
just
who does
know.
my Facebook ads, he was like, I wouldn't take that store if I were you because there's too many little red flags that are coming up. And I'm like, no, it's something about this store. I still want it. Let me get the answer to what you have a problem with. And as soon as I got the answer, he was like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. I was
Look
like,
at
no, I
that.
know it's here. So it's just
Look at
like
that.
when you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
When you know,
Yes.
you know. So
So,
just like,
so how, I'm sorry to cut you off. So, how was it dealing with that seller? Because I know it was like a quick process. You closed. I mean, you found a business and closed in within 30 days, which is just amazing. So, how was it dealing with the seller? Were they responsive? Were they easy to
he wants
communicate
that
with?
money. He wanted that
Exactly.
money. Right. So
Exactly.
he was in Vietnam. I'm in Maryland. So the time differential was already hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
So he didn't speak clear English. So the very first time, and this is one of the red flags that my Facebook manager was saying, he said, well, how come he can't get on the Zoom with you and give you the answers to what you need? And I said, because there's a language barrier and he needs an interpreter. He's like,
Mm.
okay, let's see. Why can't he get an interpreter? I said, well, we will. Just hold on, hold fast. So I requested that he have an interpreter on the line with him. So we did a Zoom one night because it's like 12 hours differential in time. He was good. He was very nice. He was very respectful. Wasn't an asshole about anything. But I'm like, he wants to sell. Just like anybody who is selling a property or selling anything, they're not going to give you a hard time unless you're being an asshole. So,
Right.
and I came in, I was professional about everything. I had my questions right, due diligence. I made sure all the questions were in front of me, and I had him fill them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though I did a
That's
Zoom
good.
with him for about 30 minutes, he showed me his back office with Shopify. And I remember you saying, make sure you move, make sure, you can see it. So it's not just a stagnant page. I wanted to see where your sales were last month. I wanted to see where it was at the top of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at everything with him. And like I said, I knew how to do Shopify anyway. So I was like, I'll get to this later. I'll get to the
Yeah.
page later. I just want to make sure I get the vibe from him that he's not bullshitting me.
Yeah. That's
But so we
awesome.
only talked one time, but
Yeah.
everything else is by email.
So you were able to use the questions that I have in the
Mhm.
course. So I provide like a whole business evaluations question script, and so you were able to utilize that when you're
Yep.
evaluating this business. That's
Yep.
great.
I sent it to him. Um, and I told him, and I added a couple things, and I had my attorney look over the contract. And she loved everything about it. She says the only thing you got to change is paragraph like 13, where I had Delaware instead of Maryland for the state where I live. She says everything else looks fine. So in your package, there has the contract in there. It has the questionnaire. I just emailed him the questionnaire for him to fill out in Word, and he just filled everything out. And my partner and I looked over everything, and I'm like, these answers look good. These agents look good and
That's
everything, nothing
awesome.
shady, everything's fine.
So
But
why
yeah,
was he selling?
he's a young guy, he's a photographer, and he's just moving on to other projects.
Love it.
Just change your mind. It's like people, why do they sell their houses? Sometimes there is something detrimental, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just I just want to move over there. I
Ready to
don't
move
want this
on.
one anymore. Right. I don't care.
Exactly. I get that
So,
question a lot. People are like, well, why would somebody sell their business if it's making money? And
I
I'm
know.
like,
I
people sell
know.
their business for so many different reasons.
Right.
So he was just ready to move on to something new. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
that was one of my
Lorie,
hesitations too, because I'm like, well, if it's making money, why would somebody walk away from it?
yeah,
People just, it's time to do something else in life. And it's just time for them. Something else could be making him 20 grand a month. So he's going over
exactly.
there. 10,000 is not enough for him. So maybe
Yeah.
the time and effort wasn't enough. But I guess some people, people always go to the negative first. Well, what's up? Why are you
Mm-hmm.
selling?
Mm-hmm. Like something wrong with it, right? Like, why are you selling the business when, it's making money? Something's got to be
Right.
wrong with it. It's like,
But the
no, he was
first
just ready to move
time
on. Yeah.
But the first time you get into any business, I would say just be careful because I chose something that is a digital product. All right. When somebody purchases a preset, they get the download right away.
Mm-hmm.
If you're purchasing, let's just say you go into a business where you're selling jewelry or children's toys, you have to worry about more things than this discussion here because your due diligence goes further where you have to find out where's the source of the toys? Where are they getting it from? How long is it going to take when somebody places an order to get the toy? So
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with that bullshit. That's just
Yeah.
me. That's my personality. I just want to get in and out, get you your product. And I want to be sitting on the beach, chilling.
Yes.
I don't even worry about inventory and the product. Now I know when I take a look at some of these comments online, Kenna,
Mm-hmm.
when I see some of these jewelry or, just some of these websites, because they do drop shipping, you're not always getting that watch from the website that you went to.
Yeah.
All right. You could go to a landing page. It looks amazing. It looks great. And they're selling this watch, right, for $200, $300. And once you click submit and you put your money, your card in there, on the back end, there could be a supplier that has to get notified
Mm-hmm.
to get you this watch, and they have to mail it to you.
Yep.
Whereas that initial person who that page you went to might have got this watch for 25 bucks.
Yep.
So for them, that person, you have to pay more attention to, well, why are the comments so raggedy? These people are
Mm-hmm.
mean in the comments. It took me 10 weeks to get my product. And, when I
Yeah.
got it, it wasn't what I thought. I'm like, look, I don't want all that.
You don't want to deal
Because
with
now
any of
I understand
that.
drop shipping, the method works great for some people,
Yeah,
but for me and my personality, I don't want to have to deal with other people
right.
influencing my sales.
Exactly.
And when you're dealing with drop shipping, that could potentially happen.
I love digital products. I think that's a great way to go about it. I know I love that that was
Hmm.
part of your criteria. You're like, I don't want to do with any of that. Like, I want my customers to just get their order immediately, just
Yeah.
download it and move on. Yes,
And if they
love it.
didn't get it, then I could just email it again. There's no, it's
Exactly.
too small or it's not the black I thought. It's too tight.
Yeah,
It's none of that.
beautiful. All right, Miss Lorie. So now that you have acquired this business,
Yeah,
yes, I have
I'm
two
ready for
questions
another
for
one.
you. One, would you go through this process again? And two, would you recommend the opportunity to acquire an existing business to others?
I would. If someone is, they know what they want and they're not just thinking, well, I just want to do it because she said it makes 20 grand a month.
Hmm.
Some of these businesses are making nothing per month. Some of them are making 10,000, 20,000, a million a month. So what it makes is not so important. Would I do this again? Yes. It would only be with a business that I'm passionate about, that I know that I wouldn't mind waking up and doing it. I don't want to do it just because it makes 20 grand or 30 grand a month.
Right.
Because if I hate the product or I hate the process, then it's not going to be fun and I'll stop it. So yeah, I'll
Yes.
do it again. And I definitely would go. I got mine from flippa.com. So I went
Yeah.
on there and I did my due diligence and I went through Flippa to isolate down. I didn't want any inventory. I isolated my filter so that I was only getting notifications on digital businesses.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I
I
love
looked at the other
it.
ones too. But I just wasn't getting a good vibe from the other sites. They were a little bit more expensive too. And I said for my first time, I'm not spending $80,000. That just wasn't in the purse. So I wasn't
Yeah.
spending $80,000 for my first time. My first house was $8,500.
Yeah.
My
Right.
first house
Your
was
first digital real
8,500.
estate. Yes. That's digital real estate for real.
My first digital business is $8,500, and I plan to make that back the first month
Yep.
that I go live, and I should be going live in the next 2 weeks,
And the
right
beautiful
before
part about that
Thanksgiving.
is, yes, and you're gonna get that return on your investment back very
Hmm.
quickly. And
Hmm.
every dollar you make after that is just profit. Like you
Just
get your money back, and
that's
then
right.
there's no ceiling. Like a digital products e-commerce business, like you could scale that to the moon.
Yeah, there's
Um,
no employees.
yeah,
Everything that I need, let's just say I need somebody to help me with the Shopify store. Like I have a gentleman now who is helping with SEO and optimization. That's not an ongoing process, but there is no one except my social media manager that's going to be paid on a continuous basis. So I look at the overhead at maybe 750 a month.
wow,
That's it. I don't see it
that's
over a
beautiful.
thousand dollars.
That is beautiful. So yeah, your
Mhm.
profit margins are lit. Your ROI for this investment is lit. Like you won. Like, what? That's
Thank you,
great. For
Tina.
your
No,
first
you won.
deal, yes. For your
That
first
course
deal,
that you made is already a tax deduction for me because that what I
yes.
invested in your course was giving me enough so I can get to the next level to make the money. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid of courses. I know
Mm-mm.
you have a payment option for them, which all business owners we do. Like I even have it for my courses. But do not be afraid to invest in yourself because college has no problem taking your money. They have no problem taking it for years and years and years at a time. And there's no stopping it until you pay it off. Most people, 60% of the people out here are not even working in the field that they went to school for. So
Crazy.
find out a specialized niche that you know, maybe I'm interested in getting a course, or maybe I'm interested in Airbnb, or how do I do this? Anything that's how do I do it? Don't ask anyone that hasn't done it. And that was one of the
Exactly.
first questions I asked Ken. I'm like, well, have you done it?
Mm-hmm.
You're promoting this course, girlfriend. Have you done
Mm-hmm.
it? And she said, yeah, I've done it multiple times. So I'm like, cool. Well, that's all I need to see. I don't need to see your
Yeah.
bank statements. I don't need to give me proof and receipts. As long as you've told me that you've done it,
Mm-hmm.
I trusted her with that. That was enough. And a lot of people are like, most broke people say, I need to see all your receipts. You know why
Mm.
they do that? Because they're just giving themselves an excuse to try to get out. Well,
Mm.
show me your last month's profit. What the fuck does that matter?
Wow. Bars.
Doesn't matter. What I made is what I made. What Kenna
Exactly.
made is what she made. You may come in and make more. You may come in and do nothing. So it doesn't matter. It's nice to see, oh, wow, you've got it. You've done it. But don't compare whether you get started on something on someone else's numbers.
Mm.
Yeah, just all you got to know is, did you do it? Was it
Mm-hmm.
successful? Okay, you had some moments where you probably messed up too. Good. That's all I need because I need a
Mm-hmm.
reference of when I mess up so I can at least bounce something off. Like, have I owned a property? I've owned 11. So can I
Mm.
sell property and talk the talk? Yep, I can talk the good and the bad about
Yeah.
all parts of real estate. So you got to make sure Kenna is amazing. She's knowledgeable. That course was on point. I'm so glad at that time I took it. And whatever it costs right now, whatever the investment is, put it in to the budget because what you're going to get out of it is going to be so much more than that.
Thank you, my friend. Those are some very kind words. And that was my final question. Like, no pressure, but
This is easy. It was fun.
how prepared would you say you were to acquire an e-commerce business after taking my course? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very, very prepared and 0 being, girl, no, your course is
10.
whack.
Out of 10. Now,
Oh,
just like
thanks, Lorie.
anything, I was asking you, can you find the stuff for me? Because I was, just anytime you're scared of when you are about to start something new, that
Mm-hmm.
happens with some of my buyers when they're out looking at real estate, right? They're
Yeah.
like, I don't know, now that I got the pre-approval letter, I don't know if I really want to look at houses. What? You're here now. Come on.
Yeah.
So don't punk out. Come on, we're here. Remember why you said you wanted this. So
Yeah.
for those that are looking for a reason, hey, I'm looking to stay at home with the kids, or this is something that my husband I know he could do, and he's passionate about this. My kids, hey, she's in college, he's in college. This is something I know that they can do. Exactly. That fear will get you
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. It'll just keep you, okay, it's 2025 and I still haven't done anything, Kenna, but let me ask you 50,000 more questions.
Mm-mm.
No, just go do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. So everything that you had in there, and I love the way you had the sections where you had the information at the end with the documents. So
Mm.
the questionnaire, the due diligence page, so I can check off. That was the investment right there. So if someone gives you the questionnaire of what to ask the seller and the contract, she gave you a copy of the contract.
I'm
So a lot of
saying,
times that we're not pulling the trigger is because, yo, I don't have the resources, or yo, I don't have the right paperwork. Where am I supposed to get it from? She gives you all of that in her course. So
yeah.
yeah, I would say, would I do it again with you? Well, yeah. I mean, we're here, but I'm not going to say I'm a pro at this. I know I'm still may have some questions,
Of
but
course.
she, yeah, PBC, she laid the roadmap. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you're going to bullshit with another year of excuses, or if you're just going to say, let me just go ahead and do this.
Let's just go ahead and do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you really got to
Let's
just
just go
dive
ahead and do
in. Yeah. Well, I am so excited for you, Lorie. Like,
it.
I love to hear success stories. And I'm so happy that you just did your first deal. And I know you probably your next deal is gonna be crazy. I'm excited for you already for that. But I'm
90
excited
days.
about this one. I know you're gonna grow that business and get a return on your investment really quickly. So is
Yeah,
there
90
anything
days.
else you want to share? Because I just wanted you to share your story with anybody that was still kind of on the fence. Like, man, I like the idea of buying an online business, but I'm kind of scared about the process. So I'm glad that they were able to hear your story tonight, that you were able to get it done in what,
Yep.
less than 30 days?
Less than 30 days.
Less than 30 days. That is
But
amazing.
here's
I
the
think that might
thing.
be a record.
I'll take that. I'll
That might
take
be a
that.
record.
I'll take it. When it comes
Yeah.
down to now, I hire a lot of my team members. All right. So here's one thing. Here's a plug so that you know. If you are already in the business of hiring other people, then this shouldn't be a problem for you. I use Upwork employees, well, not employees, but freelancers off of
Mm-hmm.
Upwork for everything in my business. I have a writer for my business. I have a social media manager. I got my Facebook manager off of there. I got my videographer actually off of there. Um, the guy who does all my landing pages. All of those resourceful people that you could think that are needed for your business, you need to hire them in advance before you even need them.
Mm-hmm.
So how I would do that is before you even get the business with Kenna, okay, we go on a website, before you even touch that, you may want to think, well, who would I need on my team anyway to make my business run? You're definitely going to need someone that does SEO and web pages and things like that. You're going to need somebody that does content writing. You're going to need someone who does social media um, managing of some
Mm-hmm.
sort. All
Mm-hmm.
right. At least post who you need for free. Got it? So if you post, all right, I need a Facebook manager, you write the description of who you need. You don't pay until you need them. But at least at that point, start to hire and
Yeah.
talk with them first in advance to say, well, tell me a little bit about how you work. I'm in the process of looking at some businesses where I'm going to need you. Tell me a little bit more about how you work.
Mm-hmm.
Pray over that conversation first. And then just, all right, cool. I got a Facebook manager on deck. Got it. Now, the next person I need is probably a Shopify person. So all of these people I had in place so that when I did get the business, I'm like, well, I already have them. That's now I got to give them some work. So I
Yes.
would just say, don't let fear and the unknown stop you. Everybody that you need to run your store is on Upwork or Fiverr. I promise you. They
Yep.
know how to do that shit better than we do. So make sure that you are going onto those sites either before you need them or even after, and make sure that you are conveying a good description, a good job description to put on there who you need. I just interviewed for another writer today because my old writer, like, I got another position. It's taking a little bit more of my time. I'm like, cool, going back on Upwork and get me another writer.
Mm-hmm.
One stop.
Yeah.
When one person don't stop the show. That's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So you're gonna
Yeah,
have help
PVC, I did have a
operating.
business plan in place. So
Yeah.
you got to have some kind of direction anyway instead of just jumping out there. I'm a business coach, so if you need any of that kind of help, I help brands get developed. I stay on social media with a message. I'm not just doing it, just doing dances. I'm helping brands get recognized online. So that's what I do. But yeah, getting a business plan is paramount because you got to know the direction of where you're trying to go first
Mm-hmm.
before you just jump out there with the business. So yeah,
Yes.
that's a good point.
Absolutely. So
Mhm,
definitely tap
mhm.
in with her. Why don't you tell people? I'm gonna, of course, tag you and everything, but make sure you tell people where they can find you and what they can reach out to you for before we close down.
I'll put in my link tree link, so that'll probably be easier. Did you want me
Yes.
to put the link to your course in here also?
I'll put it. I'll say, make sure I save this, and then I'll have
Okay,
it in the comments so we can
because
make sure they have access to it. But I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Lorie, for joining me tonight and sharing your
you.
experience. I'm so excited for you and your new acquisition. And I wish you nothing but success. And of course, we already talked, but you know I'm here if you have any questions,
Hmm.
and let's just keep moving. We're closing down the year, right? So let's finish the year strong. And if you're thinking about buying an existing online business, now is the time to tap in. Lorie was able to do it in 30 days, guys. Like 30 days. she was able to
I wanted
acquire.
them before the holidays. That's why.
I remember that you said
I told
I want a
you
business before Black Friday.
before. I said I need
And
this before Black Friday because we're going to
yes,
see some crazy numbers on Black Friday that weekend. So it's a
yeah,
digital business. It will be out there. So
you
follow
ready.
me. Just follow me and just, I didn't want to release the website quite yet until I finished everything up. So I will be promoting it silently on my page, but there will be a whole nother page made just exclusively for that page. So photographers, if you're out there, if you know some photographers that need shout outs, that would love to get some promotion, definitely make sure you tag me at Lorie_Woodruff so that I can get them recognized. Like I'm allowing them to use the presets for free so that I can tag their work so they can get the work as well.
I love that. I love that strategy. So it's win-win for everybody.
It is,
That's
it is.
great.
It's about promoting others. So it's not just about let me get as many buyers as possible. No, let's recycle this so that the photographers can get well known as well.
Yes, that is dope. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you, girl.
Congratulations again, deal maker.
What
And
else can you call me?
deal maker,
What else?
private equity investor,
Damn it. I'll take that. That sounds pretty official.
boss.
No, I
Boss
don't want to
just
be called boss.
encompasses all of it,
I
right?
don't want to be called boss. Bosses tell people what to do.
Yes, let's go.
I love
Awesome.
it.
Well, thank you again. Thank you everyone for joining and tap in with us. If you're ready to buy an online business, send me a DM. I'd love to talk to you about how you can get started. And if you want help with everything Lori's got going on, she's a business coach. She can help you
Marketing
with
girl.
content. She can help you with it all. So definitely tap in with her too. And I think that's it. Let's call it a night. Thank you, Lori.
Good.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, love. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye,
You
you
too.
guys.
Bye bye.